In this video, I'll be showing the benefits of the virtual environments. This new feature is aimed at letting you run the same process flows in isolated configurable environments, each with its own settings and context. This means no more duplicating flows per system environment, no more individual flow deployments, where you can now use packages and do comparisons against the environments as you promote, all in an aim to improve the development and deployment process within the iPaaS. Now, previously, you would have something like this, where you would have a separate flow per environment, where you'd have Shopify and NetSuite orders pointed to some sort of sandbox or test environments for Shopify and NetSuite in this case. And then you'd have the exact same flow duplicated, the same logic, the same steps, but pointed to production. You would have to make the changes in two places, one in the sandbox, one in production flow, and two individual deployments as well. In this demo, I will show how to move to the new virtual environments approach and the benefits from doing so. So first thing is you create your virtual environments, and I've created a stage or a sandbox one and a production one. You may create more, a dev stage prod setup, maybe it's by subsidiary, maybe it's by brand. You can think of these as these virtual environments as workspaces. Within these virtual environments, we have a thing called configuration settings. Configuration settings is where all the magic takes place. This is the environment specific settings. This is where we tell the flow if you're running against this particular environment to switch out X, Y, and Z. So these specific settings could be anything from the instances down to the flow priority. So here we're switching out the Shopify and NetSuite sandbox instances for production when it runs in this environment. So we do this for each of the environments we've set up, and then the next stage is to actually deploy flows to them. You can deploy the flow individually, as you always have from the canvas, or you can create a package which will allow you to create more than or one or more flows for that deployment. So package 1, 2, 3, 4. And in this package, you add your flows. So you add all your flows in here. For this example, we've only got Shopify NetSuite orders. This is where you would create this snapshot. So that this package becomes a snapshot of these flows, serving as a reliable version for the deployment to these environments. So no more deploying one flow at a time. So you can promote this up the different environments as you're ready. So once you've got your package, you can use that package to compare against other environments if that flow exists on it and find out what the differences are. For purpose of this demo, I'm just going to deploy it to sandbox and production. So I'm going to deploy it to the sandbox and the production environment, like so. And once that's done, you're going to see it pop up here on the virtual environment screen. So you can see I've deployed that flow to both of them. And that means now if we go back into that process flow, which is being deployed and enabled, we can use the initialize advanced option here and select the environment. And if we select production, you'll see here in the logs, it switches out, tells you first which environment it is, and then switches out the connector instances to the production ones. So when this is running, it's actually now connected to the production environment for Shopify and NetSuite. So if that was running on a schedule or webhook, it always switch out when it's running in that particular environment. So that's just a very quick example to show the power of the virtual environments and how it streamlines the whole build and deployment process. So we don't need both of these flows anymore. So this flow would become redundant. So I'm just going to delete this like so. And any future changes we would do, we would make in this one flow. So we would just the flow implementation because it's reusable. So no more duplicating the flows and doing rework per environment. You see there that the deployments are so much faster, more consistent with the use of packages, so you can move them along the environments. And all this is available in the API as well, as usual. So you can do all of this via the API and integrate it into your CI or CD pipelines and make your deployments a lot easier. So that's just a quick example of virtual environments and how it can streamline the build and deployment process. Thanks for watching.